Silent cold start for the boys. Hopefully this goes according to plan. Alright, how we doing, YouTube? We're here, another video, different project from our last video. So this project is on my daily, actually. It needs a little bit of TLC. We're going to be doing your brakes. We're going to be doing wheel bearings on this vehicle while we wait for the parts on the flip or not the flips WRX. And I hope you guys enjoy it, so stay tuned. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to jack up the car on the rear to work on that. If you're watching this and then you're like new working on your car and stuff like that, I'll show you kind of like the pickup point for the jack to pick up the car nice and tight. Nothing is going to move like it shouldn't, and we're going to go from there. Alright, so me personally, I like to go ahead and jack up the rear of the car right on the rear diff, center point of the vehicle. So if you set up your jack like you're supposed to, it should go up level and you should have no problems going ahead and putting some jack stands on both sides leveled, so that way the vehicle is not lopsided or anything like that. Let's get some jacking going on. Should be high enough. Put the jack stands on just like that, nice and secured. All right, since I have friends that I share this little shop with, unfortunately we don't have no agadagas because they like to take tools and not bring them back, right? So we're just gonna use a ratchet wrench to take those wheels off, old school way, and build ourselves a little bit of muscles taking these wheels off. As you can see, that right there is one of my little toolboxes that I have. Goes to show that you really don't need a lot of tools to work out on your vehicle. You got to start somewhere. So mainly the majority of the little tools that I have comes from that box. And Walmart special, can't beat it. All right, if it works, it doesn't have to be freaking expensive tools or anything like that. You just gotta do what you gotta do with what you have. Let's get to it. Don't forget to put your e-brake on so that way your wheel doesn't spin when you try to take your lug nuts off. All right, maybe it won't move now, right? Funny how some of these are tight and other ones are not. Obviously, if you use impact, this wheel would have been off by now, right? All right, all lug nuts are off, wheel off, put it under the car. Just a extra safety measure, right? All right, so it's both 14 millimeters for the brake caliper itself and the bracket that holds the brake caliper. Be mindful of where you put your hardware and stuff like that so you don't lose it. Now we're gonna go ahead and take this bad boy out, right? And don't just leave this hanging, just tuck it in somewhere. You can always go ahead and, I know I just said don't leave it hanging. Don't leave it hanging off the line. You can hang it off the spring from the strut. If you have zip ties or anything like that, hang it from there. Basic hand tools work. It's a little bit more tedious, right? Luckily for me, even though this is a New England car, I take care of the carriage as much as I can. Bring it to the wash rack and do the undercarriage and stuff like that. Make sure all the salt from the winter and stuff like that gets washed away. If that gets ridiculous, like it is right now, you can always kind of cheat your way. Oh, that's not gonna work. To go ahead and loosen that up with a little bit of more leverage. Right? Put this here, like how I said that, and then leverage is key. Right? Work smarter, not harder. Loosen enough. Take this bottom bolt out. Go ahead and clean those threads. I'll make it easier for the next time. You need to remove that. Literally, that's just rust building up in there. I don't know if you guys can see that, right? Just a little bit rusty, not too crazy, right? Just clean those up, and once you're gonna go ahead and put them back in, it should come out a little easier. And of course, the head of that bolt is a little rusted, so it doesn't want to come out. Damn it. What you can do is try to put it back in so the threads catch up a little bit. Wiggle that sucker out. I don't know if you guys can see that, but basically what I just did there. Take it out. The next one, pull it out. Still too tight for me to take it out with my fingers. Here's the other one. It falls off like that. Right? So see how crusty this is? When we put all the new hardware in, we're just gonna go ahead and clean everything out, lube it up, so that way these slide in and out like it's supposed to. And so here we are. So basic tools, brake clean, make sure you have enough. I don't think this is enough for the job. So make sure you have enough brake clean. Get at a minimum 2 brand new ones if you're gonna be doing, depending on how many brakes you're gonna be doing and stuff like that. But mainly, you're gonna take your pads out, nasty old pads, right? Take your sliders here, take those off. I forgot the actual name for these, but this is where the actual pads actually slide in and out when you're braking. These are all rusty and crusty. These are, your pads are not gonna be able to slide on them, and you can get uneven wear on your pads and on the rotor. So this is the part that you're actually gonna go ahead and clean with a brush. Nothing crazy. So just imagine that you're brushing your teeth, right? First thing in the morning, you'll go ahead and you brush your teeth as best as you can, right? Those of you that actually do, those of you that don't, please brush your teeth. Public service announcement right there. Please do that. Don't be walking around with crusty old yellow teeth, please. Anyway, back to this, right? So he's gonna grab the brush and he's gonna scrape all the crust away. Try not to breathe this. I don't have a mask right now, so stay away from it while you go ahead and brush it. Make it nice and crust free. Sometimes it builds like chunks, I guess you can say, of rust. If need be, you can always grab like a file or something like that and make it nice, because that's gonna sit in between those sliders, and if the tolerances in between this and the actual bracket itself is messed up, your brake pads are gonna fit very tight and they're not gonna slide like you're supposed to. I mean, like they are supposed to. You can slide wherever you want to slide in. I'm not your dad. But if you like so far what you see, help your boy out, do the things. And I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is, because like I have said before, y'all adults, y'all know what to do. Just help your boy out, all right? All right, so this is what I was saying about rusty and all that rustiness in there and in there. That's when you go ahead and you get yourself some Walmart special files and you clean those as best as you can. The more square and clean they are, the better. I'm gonna do that right now. Now, when you're doing this, right, this only cuts one way. So don't go bananas going like back and forth and stuff like that. It only cuts one way. So take your time, make sure that you don't mess it up. Just go the way that this cuts, which is forward, not towards you backwards, right? Forward, and just clean those surfaces up. You get it as flush as possible, and just get all that gunk out. You can always use different ones and stuff like that. Something that has more surface to keep it more stable. This is something that I like to do. Some people might look at this and be like, no, don't do that. You're just like messing up your tolerances. Another tip, right? When you're doing this, your file is going to get all gumped up, right? All the crap that you are removing off of it. Just grab your trusty brush, periodically get it out of there, right? Clean it up a little bit. You can always go the way the file is like, has ridges on it, and just clean it outwards, away, and you're nice and clean. Continue doing your job. Patience is key. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Work smarter, not harder. That's all there is to it. I'm gonna continue cleaning this up. And another thing, you don't have to go ham on it, right? What I mean by that is that all you want to do is remove the high spots. That's it. What we're doing here, we're just trying to pry this out. A little bit of tension on it, a little bit at a time. Give it a couple whacks. You can hear it cracking. Just all that rust buildup. Obviously, if you don't care about the rotor, then you can give it a couple whacks. If it gets damaged, who cares? I think this one's ready to come out. Just like that. That boy's coming out. What happens is just rust builds up in there. You just gotta use these, pry it out a little bit at a time. Give it a couple whacks. It's ready to come out from the bottom. Yes. Be mindful not to hit the shield, because then you hit it, you bend it, and it's gonna end up making noise while you're driving down the road. Try to make it come out as even as possible. Welcome to New England. So what you guys want to do before you put this back on, you want to go ahead and put it the other way around, I guess you can say, right? And you're gonna use brake clean to spray out brand new brakes. Make sure that all the additives that they use so they don't rust out and stuff like that. Just remove. Take a rag, try to get all the oils and stuff like that off of it. These don't seem like they do have oil. I'm guessing it's because of the coating that they come with. So now you just grab it, flip it the other way, and slap it back on. You're gonna go ahead and little rubber cap that was on the other one, the old one, you wanna go ahead and put it in. If it decides to go ahead and go in, it's supposed to, there you go, attaboy. So now that's all in, nice and neat. Got the brake clean again. Go ahead, clean this surface as well. Like I said, based on the coating that this one has, I don't think it has any oils, but in good practice, just go ahead and clean your brakes. Now that it's all clean, we'll go for the second part, which is putting the brake caliper and all that stuff. But before we do that, we're gonna go ahead and prep the bracket with all the accessories, so that way your pads move in and out like they're supposed to and engage the brakes. Make sure when you are buying a set of brakes and stuff like that, they actually come with these, because I have ordered brakes in the past before when they don't come with that, and I'll have to reuse the old ones, and sometimes these things, they're gone. Like, they're broken, missing a piece, whatever, right? Now you're stuck with trying to change your brakes and you don't have these. And trying to find them at the auto parts store and stuff like that, sometimes it's a pain in the butt. Sometimes they don't carry them. And now you're, you know what I was about to say. So make sure that you get brand new ones. So these ones, I literally could just clean them up and reuse them, but no. If you have brand new hardware, use your brand new hardware. So when you're installing these, fairly simple. You just make sure that you took pictures or videos and stuff like that, how this goes back on. It only goes in one way, basically, at least on this model per se. You just snap them in. Once you do, just make sure that if you took your due diligence of cleaning all that surface area that we did prior, it should sit pretty flush pretty much everywhere, right? If it doesn't, just go back, keep cleaning them, and make sure that everything is where it's supposed to be. That's literally it. All right, so I jumped the gun putting these on without servicing these, right? These are your sliders. These sliders feel somewhat fine. One of them is harder than the other one. You want both of them to be around the same. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna go ahead, remove this, try not to rip the boots because I don't have brand new ones unless I wanna go ahead and tear this apart and take the new boots out of this and put it on the old ones. But I wanna sell these as they are, brand new, unmolested, right? So we're gonna service these right now. So pretty cool, pretty simple. I'm just gonna go ahead and try to get these crusty boots off, right? I'm just gonna set them aside. And what you really wanna do is, if they wanna come out, right? I'll come back once this sucker wants to come out. moisture got underneath this. And I'm gonna try to take a close-up. I'll show you guys how rusty it is in there. So now we're gonna thoroughly clean those out, make sure that nothing is in there, make sure that all those surfaces are as clean as possible. Here you really want to go shiny and stuff like that, because then we're gonna use brake grease to lube all this up and make sure that that doesn't happen, or try to make sure that that doesn't happen again, so that way your brakes work like they're supposed to. And there's really nothing to it you really want to do, thoroughly clean them out. So use rags, Q-tips, plastic brush, whatever you can get in there to get all the old grease out and get all the rust that has built up in this area here clean. So we're gonna use our wire brush that I left over there at the car to clean those out and clean in the inside, make sure everything is cleaned up, and then we're gonna tackle this.
No beats.
Alright, so now that we have this clean, we gotta do these. These are fairly simple. Just go ahead, take the boot off. Whoever did the job last on this did it pretty good. Just gonna clean the old grease out in the same way that we thoroughly cleaned that side. If this side also is super rusty and stuff like that, in this area, which this one is pretty clean, that's pretty good. So if it is super rusty, nasty, dirty, you name it, you wanna go ahead and take care of that as well, right? Unless you don't want to do all this, you can just go ahead and buy the set of calipers that I'm gonna put for sale. Up to you. I don't know. Not your dad, so can't tell you what to do, right? Because y'all adults. There you go. Get this clean, put it down, and then this, you want to clean it as best as you can, and then re-lube it again. Same with this. All right. So once again, time lapse time. Right, so the time has come to use the brake grease. Right, just gonna go ahead, grab a nice dab of it, lube the shaft. You don't have to go too crazy on it, just enough lubrication, so go in and out and easy. And really, if you're gonna go ham anywhere, it's here, right? Because that's the point where moisture is gonna want to come in. So to prevent moisture to go in there, you want to go ahead and put a really decent amount of lube in there. You just grab this part, slide it in like it's supposed to, grease the points where for a fact the moisture is going to want to go in there. And you go ahead and do the same for all of it. Fairly simple, right? All right, so here's the finished product, I guess you can say. This is what I want to see. They bounce back off. This one has the little rubber piece. It is going to be a little bit tighter, but you want it to be like that, bouncy. This one is a little tight still, but we'll be fine. Now, he's going to go in reverse order. I'm going to grab a bracket with the bolts. Go on them. I'm going to go and line this up. Line up the top one first. Line up the bottom one. Something's wrong here. If your bolts don't want to go in, they're supposed to. Make sure, you know, that your threads are clean. You don't want to cross thread anything. Alright, so the bolts for this bracket is torque spec for them is 48 foot-pounds. So you know a lot. Just go ahead, get it nice and tight with your ratchet wrench. You just grab your torque wrench, set it up to 48 foot-pounds, which it already is, because that is the torque spec for the 4 bolts that holds your wheel bearing. So since I'm doing the wheel bearing and the brakes on this, fortunately, torque specs for both the bracket and the wheel bearings is 48 foot-pounds. Alright, so now that that's nice and secured, you already have your new rotor in and stuff like that. Now we're gonna do the brake caliper itself. But before we do, we gotta install our trusty brake pads, right? What I like to do is that I like to lubricate these because they're gonna be on the sliders over here, and also lubricate the back of these. Make sure you don't get any rattles or anything like that. In this particular model, the brake pad with the indicator that you have goes in the back. Also, try not to get the brake grease on the rotor itself. So that's why you go ahead and take a dab of it, right? I went a little too much, so I'm gonna spread it out here as much as I can. Like I said, put some in the back, so I'm gonna use some of that, put it in the back over here, and then the rest it's gonna go ahead and all the points of contact that this pad is gonna be riding on, that's what you want to go ahead and lubricate. Everything else bone dry. All right, slide it in the back. For me, rear pad is always a pain in the butt. I'll come back once it's done. It's funny, I stopped recording because I was gonna do the rear pad. The rear pad went in without a hitch, even though I said that it usually kicks my ass. So they make me look like an idiot. So put some in the back there, points of contact here, right? Try not to get any on the contact patch, whatever. I don't know how to say that. I'm Puerto Rican. Get used to it. Got an accent, right? Contact patch, I guess it's supposed to be said, right? Get that in there. Old raggedy pants. Go ahead and clean your fingers. Bean bada boom. Both in. That's what right here. Y'all can see how both of them are in there. This thing will focus, right? Next thing we're gonna do, brake caliper, and try to compress piston back to its place. This is just one piston. You try to go ahead and push it in. Sometimes it's not as easy. So I'll show you guys a trick here real quick. All right, so you get your camera not all messed up. How about that? You get your caliper with your brake caliper expander, bone tractor, whatever you want to call it, I don't know. Just push that piston in. Just make sure that it's going in and even until it stops. The opposite way, get it loose. Pretty cool tool. It's a snap-on one. It's not mine, so don't be saying, "Oh, look at him, bougie with snap-on." Nope. Like I said, I share this shop group of other people, and some of them have bougie tools, so might as well take advantage of that, right? Once I find what I'm looking for, I'll show right here. Put those in, make sure you line it up so they go back in where they're supposed to. Like I said before, don't force anything. Make sure that it goes finger tight, and then just make sure that you're not cross-threading anything. Grab your 14 mil. These supposed to have a torque spec for them. To be honest, torque spec on it is so small that I really don't do torque spec on it, but if y'all want to know, I'll figure it out for you. And just go nice and tight. There you go. That's how you do your brakes on a 2015 Subaru Forester. The next video, we're just gonna go ahead and do on the other side exactly the same thing. We're going to be doing the brakes, but the focus is going to be on the wheel bearing. This one fought me like hell, so hopefully the other side doesn't. All right, so finished product be looking like from down here, and this is how the finished product will be looking from over here. I know, crusty caliper right next to that beautiful rotor. It is what it is, my guys. This is just a daily. If I had all the money in the world, this will have Brembos. All right, guys, so this is gonna be it for this one. Hopefully this one is not too long. If you want to learn how to work on your car and stuff like that, you know what to do. I'm really not gonna say it. Y'all adults, y'all know what to do. Guess I'll see you guys in the next one.